this is what I do every morning when it's hot. I distribute some rainwater to my garden beds. Let me put these down for a second. That back there is a 550-gallon water tank, and it's not enough to make it through a prolonged summer-long drought, but it is enough to get through the dry periods of a normal summer. A couple times I did get it empty, and just in the nick of time a rain came. But I have these 10-foot garden beds, and I designed everything to be around 10 feet long because there are these row covers you can buy that are 10 feet long. And they're distributed in amongst all these different main crop gardens, and right now I have 6 of them going. I do have a longer one. That's the large bed that I have. There are 2 large beds long beds that I have going on into the composting area. That's a little different scenario, so let's just talk about these 5 main crop gardens. And every bed I distribute 2 gallons of water. And some of these I have the beds broken up into little circle beds. Well, that 10-foot stretch gets 2 gallons of water. That's what I do every morning when it's hot. And it may not need it this morning because I've been watering. This is probably the 4th or the 5th consecutive morning now. But we have a really hot couple of days coming up. Thursday and Friday is supposed to be in the 90s. And I want to make sure the soil is very hydrated for that stretch. So that's what I'm doing. And then during that time, the plants are probably going to be sucking up a lot of water and, evaporating it off. So that's what I'm doing. And every morning I do this, I get exercise, and I laugh at all the people who have gym memberships and go to the YMCA. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm getting plenty of exercise, and I'm growing healthy food for nothing. And they got to pay. And then they got to go put up with all the rest of the people out there. Not me. Well, anyways, I'm going to get this going. Sometimes I like to chide you. Well, I should grab the camera and make a show of this. I think this is kind of interesting. This is main crop garden number 5. I got some videos on it this year. I should probably do an update. But here I have some tumbler tomatoes. See if I can get over here where I don't have sun glaring on my shot lens here. These are tumbler tomatoes right here, and I got them on a shelf, and right now it's leaking because I just watered these 2 pots, and all the water that's going through the pots are watering the tomatoes below. And there's peppers here, getting watered as well. Here's a volunteer tomato. I'm going to let it grow, see if it catches up. This is the rest of this is the bricker wall. 1 tomato I ended up pulling out of here because it was just pretty sick looking, and I ended up planting 2 volunteers in its place. But everything else seems to be growing pretty good. This one here really looks sick for a little bit. I let things go for a little bit, and it bounced back. Oh, here's one with a sucker. Let's get that sucker out of there. So looks like Bricker's tomatoes are going to go all the way up to my hail shield. I'll let it go through it and let the tomatoes just sit on the shield. How about that? That'll be interesting. I don't need to be having this camera on the whole time I'm watering. It takes, I don't know, 25 minutes or something. But I do want to show you something on my watering tank. When we get to the end of it, there's always, a foot or maybe even a little more water on the bottom that this valve can't siphon out because it's got too much depth below it. They got to do it that way, right? Can't have a valve right at the bottom. So I devised this little cheating method here. I got a jack back here. You can see the jack. and the jack is underneath this cedar post that I had sawed two sides flat on. And when I get to the bottom of the barrel and that valve no longer drains water, then I jack up the back of this and it pushes all the water to the valve. And then I get the last of the water. And I actually used it a couple of times. So it was worth having. And I've got it back there now because I have to have this overhang to be able to do that. And if I didn't have it supported, this back half of the tank would be sagging under the weight of the water. So it looks like we got a problem. Oh, this support came off right here. Oh, so I wonder what I gotta do. I'm gonna have to kind of force that up somehow. I'll have to get a longer post as a lever and push it up and then reattach it to this leg. Oh, I'm glad I looked under here. Everything else seems to be okay. Huh. All right. I'll check back with you later, maybe. We'll see what happens. That's it, all watered. So that was a nice little workout. Got a little sweat coming off my brow because it's getting hot, very humid. Now I gotta go to work. I'm all pumped up, ready to go. Ha ha ha.